Okay, so we're just going to take you back to the UK in Windsor Castle in St George's Hall, where the guests have arrived, including the Queen, Camilla.
Recently, the British royal family was shaken by a stunning discovery during renovations in the ancient wine cellar at Windsor Castle. A section of the crumbling arched ceiling unexpectedly collapsed, and workers uncovered a dust-covered wooden chest believed to have lain undisturbed for decades. According to a revelation from a former bodyguard of Princess Diana, the symbol carved on the chest's lid was a secret mark used only by her. Prince William was immediately informed, and upon opening the chest he found a handwritten will, its contents starkly contradicting what the public had been led to believe. The assets intended for William had been bequeathed to another name, a figure no one could have anticipated. Just days after the discovery, strange events began to unfold rapidly. A suspicious fire destroyed part of the archives room. Queen Camilla's unpredictable actions quickly drew attention. All evidence pointed toward Camilla, but the biggest question still looms: who is truly behind it all? The sound of hammers echoed throughout the ancient wine cellar beneath Windsor Castle. Workers were carefully chipping away at the crumbling mortar on the stone walls, preparing for the reception of the Italian diplomatic delegation in October. William stood in the corner of the cellar observing the team at work. A manager approached holding a planning board. "Sir, we have completed reinforcing the eastern arch, but..." The manager hesitated, his eyes glancing toward the dark corner. "There's a problem." William frowned and followed him past the dust-covered wine barrels. "What problem, Mr. Harris?" "A section of the ceiling arch has collapsed. No one was injured, but we found this." Harris pointed to an old wooden chest lying amid the rubble. The lid was engraved with a strange crossed hand symbol covered in faded silver paint. William bent down his fingers, tracing the symbol. "I've seen this before," he said, his voice low. "But where?" Harris shook his head. "We didn't dare open it. It seems important." William nodded, signaling the workers to leave. "Suspend work in this area for now. I need to inspect it." Once alone, William called James, his mother's former bodyguard, Princess Diana. James, now retired and living in the suburbs of London, still kept in touch with William. Just half an hour later, James appeared, his tall, lean figure with silver-streaked hair. He entered the wine cellar, his sharp eyes sweeping over the chest. "You called me for this." James pointed to the chest, his voice gravelly. "Do you recognize this symbol?" James bent down, squinting. "This is Princess Diana's symbol. She used it for her personal items. I once saw it on a small box in her room." William stood up straight, his fists clenched. "So why is it in Windsor's wine cellar my mother passed away nearly 30 years ago?" William opened his phone and texted his private secretary, Kate. "Kate, cancel this afternoon's schedule. I need time at Windsor." He turned to James. "Who had access to this wine cellar in the 90s? James frowned, thinking. "Only a few people. The chief butler, a few bodyguards, and..." He paused, his eyes darkening. "Mrs. Camilla. She was often at Windsor during that time." William clenched his fists but kept his voice calm. "All right, I want to open this chest." James nodded, pulling a folding knife from his pocket. He carefully pried open the lid. Inside was a small notebook tied with a red silk ribbon and a stack of letters. William picked up the notebook and flipped to the first page. Diana's handwriting appeared elegant but hasty. He paused and set the notebook down. "This is my mother's. Definitely." He called a trusted bodyguard, Richard. "Richard, take this chest to my private office. No one touches it." William stepped out of the wine cellar. He called an old friend, Emma, a royal archivist expert. "Emma, I need you at Windsor right away. There's something I want you to check, but absolute secrecy." "Sounds serious, William." Her voice was curious. "I'll be there in 2 hours." When Emma arrived, William led her to his private office. The wooden chest was placed on the desk. Emma, with her hair in a high bun and round glasses, examined the symbol on the lid. "This is Princess Diana's personal symbol. I've seen it in archival documents. But why is it here?" "That's what I want you to find out," William said. "Check the documents inside the chest. I need to know where they came from and who hid them." Emma nodded, opened the chest, and began examining. "These letters seem to be handwritten by the princess to someone. I'll need time to analyze the handwriting and content." William nodded, checking his phone. "Start now, Emma. I'll look for more clues." His mind was now swirling with 1,000 questions about his mother's will, the charity fund, and he knew he needed to investigate everything thoroughly. As dusk fell, William stood by the window, looking out over the Windsor Gardens, vowing to himself to uncover the truth. Camilla sat in her study at Clarence House, her sharp eyes scanning the phone screen. A message had just arrived from Evelyn, an archivist in the Royal Archives Department. "The wooden chest was found at Windsor. Prince William has taken it. Emma is examining the contents." Camilla set the phone down, her fingers tapping rhythmically on the mahogany desk. "William," she muttered. "He always digs up things that shouldn't be touched." She stood up, walked to the window, then made a call. "Who knows about the chest?" Over the phone, Evelyn replied, her voice trembling. "Only me, Emma, and a few of William's guards." Camilla gripped the phone tightly, pursing her lips, her voice cold. "You've done well. Stay silent. I'll handle it." She hung up and immediately called her son Tom. "Tom, the charity fund is drawing attention. William might know about it soon." Tom, in his London office, startled. "How does he know? You don't need to worry too much." Camilla interrupted. "Mother will ensure no one finds anything. Prepare the papers to transfer assets if needed. And don't contact me by phone anymore." She ended the call, walked to the safe in the corner of the room, opened it, and pulled out a bundle of documents. Inside was the contract transferring the Light Fund to Bright Holdings in 1998. Camilla flipped through, checking Robert Langley's signature, the one who drafted this illegal contract. "Useless old man," she muttered. "William might find him. I need to act first." True to her word, Camilla quietly arranged a meeting with Robert Langley at a secluded cafe on the outskirts of London. Langley entered, trembling. Camilla leaned forward, her voice low and threatening. "Robert, you know too much. If William finds you and you dare utter a word, I'll ensure your family pays the price. Not just your job, but you. Everything will be ruined." Langley swallowed hard, nodding in fear. But Camilla still gripped his hand tightly, whispering, "If you betray me, you'll regret being born." After returning, Camilla called Marcus, a former royal technician who had worked for her on special projects. "Marcus, I need you at Windsor tonight. Urgent business." "What is it?" Marcus asked, his voice deep. "A small controlled fire in the archives room. I know important papers will be stored there before being cleared," Camilla said. "Ensure the wooden chest and all related documents are burned, but leave no traces." Marcus hesitated. "A fire at Windsor, that's a big risk, Mom." "You'll be handsomely rewarded," Camilla replied. "Do it and don't ask questions." That night at Windsor Castle, Marcus sneaked into the archives area through the service entrance. He wore protective gear, carrying a small ignition device. The archives room where Emma worked was filled with shelves of ancient documents. Marcus checked the electrical system, finding an old socket in the corner. He carefully plugged in a short-circuit device, setting a timer. 10 minutes, he muttered, then left. At exactly 2 a.m., a small explosion sounded. The electrical system shorted, sparks flew, igniting a nearby stack of papers. The fire spread quickly, but the automatic fire suppression system activated, extinguishing the blaze in minutes. Security personnel rushed in, inspecting the scene. Manager Harris called to report. "Small fire in the archives. Some documents burned, including the wooden chest His Highness William requested be protected." Camilla at Clarence House received the news from Marcus. "It's done, Mom. I retrieved all the papers inside before the chest burned. No one suspects." "Good," Camilla said. But William won't stop. The next morning, Camilla visited the Windsor archives, pretending to assess the damage, her voice feigning sadness as she spoke to Harris. "Such a pity about the fire. Was anything important lost?" Harris shook his head. "Just some old documents and the wooden chest. Prince William had requested its protection, but the fire destroyed it." Camilla nodded her face, showing regret. She left and called Evelyn. "Prepare a report stating that all of Diana's documents in the chest were destroyed. Don't let Emma or anyone check again." Evelyn hesitated. "But Mom, if William demands an investigation—" "I'll handle William," Camilla interrupted. "Just follow orders." Camilla returned to Clarence House, opened the safe, and checked the documents. The real ones had been taken by her people. She called Tom again through a secure channel. "Transfer all assets from Bright Holdings to a new account. Don't let William trace it." Tom replied, "Yes, Mother. But what if Charles finds out?" Camilla said, "I control him." She hung up, smiling. "Everything is still in my hands." On the other end, Tom began transferring assets and hired a private hacker to erase transaction histories, ensuring no traces remained. As night fell, Camilla sat alone, sipping wine, assuring herself that she had survived many scandals, and this one would be no different. In the evening, William brought the wooden chest to his room and placed it on the table. He carefully pried open the lid, taking out the stack of letters and the notebook. While reading his mother's confessional letters closely, he discovered a sealed envelope at the bottom of the chest. He tore it open. Inside was his mother's handwritten will. "I, Diana, Princess of Wales, bequeath all my personal assets to my eldest son, William, including the Light charity fund I established." William frowned. "Light fund, I've never heard of it." He opened his laptop and quickly searched. There was no information about this fund under his mother's name. Instead, a shell company named Bright Holdings appeared registered in Guernsey. The owner was Tom Parker Bowles, Camilla's son from a previous marriage. He called Emma the archivist. "Emma, have you found anything from the letters yet?" Over the phone, Emma replied, "The letters are all from the princess, sent to a close friend but unnamed. The diary mentions a charity fund she wanted to protect for you. I've contacted an old colleague in the archives. They'll help find more documents." "Does it mention Light?" William asked. "No, but I'll check." Emma said, "Have you found something new?" "A will," William said. "And a shell company under Tom Parker Bowles' name. Can you check when this company was established?" "I'll start right away," Emma said. "Thank you. Send results through a secure channel." William took the chest to the Royal Archives for storage. Though he didn't want to, it was protocol. All unverified records and papers must be kept there. Moreover, access was strictly controlled, so he believed the box would be safe. Afterward, he grabbed a flashlight and keys, quietly descending to the wine cellar. William wanted to recheck the discovery site for any clues. In the corner of the cellar where the ceiling had collapsed, William knelt down. "No signs of tampering," he muttered. "So who hid this chest?" He stood up and returned to his office. He pulled out his phone and called Kate, his private secretary. "Kate announced that I'll be on a working trip to Canada this week. Prepare a fake itinerary, but keep the real destination secret. Check the security staff list from last night. I need to know who was near the archives." "Yes, but—" Kate replied. "Where are you going?" "Guernsey," William said. "I need to meet the person behind Bright Holdings." The next morning, William carried a small suitcase. The plane landed in Guernsey at noon. William rented a car and drove straight to the law firm office registered under Bright Holdings. At the office, a receptionist, Alice, greeted him. "Hello, do you have an appointment?" "I'm David Thompson," William said, using an alias. "I want to meet the person in charge of Bright Holdings." I'm sorry, Mr. Thompson, the company has no direct representative here. All transactions are via email. William smiled. I understand. But I have information about a charity fund related to Bright Holdings. Can I meet someone who knows about the fund transfer? A middle-aged man, Mr. Carter, stepped out. Mr. Thompson, how can I help? I'm representing a party that wants to verify the origin of the Light Fund. When was it transferred to Bright Holdings? I don't have the authority to disclose, but I can confirm Bright Holdings was established in 1998 after some assets were transferred. After Princess Diana's death? William asked sharply. How do you know? Carter asked. Just a guess, William said, standing up. Thank you. I'll be in touch. On the way back to the hotel, William called James, the former bodyguard. James, do you remember who handled my mother's finances in 1998? There was a financial advisor, Mr. Robert Langley. He was close to Mrs. Camilla. After the princess's death, he left the royal family and moved to work in Guernsey. He hung up, then had someone look it up, and discovered Langley now ran a consulting firm in Guernsey. William sent an email posing as David Thompson, requesting a meeting to discuss an important financial matter. Within hours, Langley replied, agreeing to meet at a cafe in St. Peter Port the next morning. The next morning, William arrived at the cafe as scheduled, carrying a copy of the will in his suitcase. He entered and recognized Langley sitting in the corner. Mr. Langley, I'm David Thompson. William said, keeping his tone mild, I need information about the Light Fund. Langley looked up, frowning. Who are you? I don't know that fund. William placed the copy of the will on the table. This is proof that this fund belonged to my mother, Princess Diana. Why does it belong to Bright Holdings? Langley stood up, his voice tense. I'm not involved. Don't drag me into this. William grabbed his arm. You know something. Tell me or I'll take this to court. And involvement in the princess's death would mean a heavy sentence. Langley stood silent for a long time, thinking of Camilla's threats, but then sat down. I just followed orders. In 1998, Mrs. Camilla asked me to transfer some of the princess's assets to a new company. I didn't ask for details. Who else? William asked. I only know her. William nodded, standing up. Thank you. Don't tell anyone about this meeting. Back at the hotel, William called Emma. She confirmed Bright Holdings was established in 1998. A moment later, William received news from Kate. William, the Windsor Archives just had a fire. The wooden chest is reported to be destroyed. Destroyed, too coincidental. Who discovered fire? Harris. Kate replied. The fire suppression system activated, but the chest and some documents were destroyed. He called James. James, do you know Marcus, the former royal technician? I once saw him looking suspicious when I left the archives after storing the box. Yes, he used to work for Mrs. Camilla. William pursed his lips. I suspect the fire is linked to him. Dig deeper. William hung up, opened his suitcase, and checked the copy of the will. He received an email from a trusted lawyer. Swiss accounts linked to Bright Holdings have large transactions from 1998 under Tom Parker Bowles's name, but previously through an intermediary, Camilla. William wasn't too surprised. He had long suspected Camilla was behind it. He also knew the battle was just beginning. Camilla sat in the drawing room at Ray Mill House, her private residence in Wiltshire, holding a glass of red wine. Rumors about Diana's will were spreading. She glanced at the clock, then called Marcus, her voice sharp and cold. Marcus, how have you handled the rumors about the will? Marcus over the phone replied, Mom, I've spread information that the fire was an accident, but William is still investigating. He has evidence of me near the archives. Camilla gripped the wine glass tightly. Find every way to destroy that evidence. Understood, Marcus replied. But the fire has made Charles suspicious. William must have said something to him. Camilla smiled coldly. You just do your job. She hung up and walked down a narrow hallway to a secure room on the second floor. The wooden door was locked with a code. Camilla entered the code and pushed the door open. Inside was a large glass cabinet. She took a bundle of documents from the safe in the room, including the illegal transfer paper for Diana's charity fund, to Tom. At Clarence House, Camilla received news from Marcus. Charles visited Ray Millhouse last night. Camilla slammed her hand on the table. Charles, he dares investigate me. She immediately called an ally in the Royal Council, Lord Harrington. Harrington, Charles is suspecting me. You must stop him from digging deeper. Harrington replied, It's difficult, ma'am. Rumours about the will are dividing the council. Some are siding with William. Camilla pursed her lips. Then I'll make William silent. She called Marcus. Investigate if William has a copy of the will. If so, find a way to retrieve it. Use any means. That afternoon, Camilla received a call from Charles. He entered the study holding a report on the fire. Camilla, I've heard whispers about the archives fire. Someone saw your people nearby. Are you hiding something? Camilla stood up, her voice gentle. Charles, those are just rumors from troublemakers. Perhaps someone is trying to create a scandal to tarnish my reputation. Charles frowned. Are you sure you're not involved? Camilla placed her hand on his shoulder, smiling. Charles, you know I'm always loyal to you and the royal family. These rumors are fabricated. Let me handle it. I'll prove everything is false. Charles sighed, nodding. All right, Camilla. I trust you. Just this once. Camilla nodded, waiting for him to leave before calling Marcus. Charles has started suspecting. Keep everything secret. Now focus on getting the copy from William. That evening, Camilla ordered Evelyn, a loyal aide, to break into William's private office at Kensington to steal the copy of the will. Evelyn, disguised as a cleaner, sneaked into the building late at night. She unlocked the office door with a duplicate key entered and searched the safe. But as Evelyn tried to open the safe, the alarm system activated. William's guards rushed in and apprehended her. Evelyn tried to justify, I'm just cleaning. But the guards called William immediately. The thief was caught red-handed. On her side, Camilla didn't receive a success message. She gripped the phone tightly. Evelyn was caught, but I've taken her parents hostage. She won't dare implicate me. Camilla continued directing Marcus to erase digital evidence and Tom to accelerate asset transfers. Camilla smiled. The game isn't over yet. After 2 days of investigation, William packed his suitcase and boarded a plane from Guernsey back to London. In his mind, he pieced together the clues: his mother's wooden chest, the will, the light fund, and the timely fire. Camilla, he muttered, you can't hide forever. Upon landing in London, William called James. James, I need to find Margaret, my mother's former advisor. She once helped her draft the will. James replied over the phone. Margaret Hale, now living in Edinburgh. She retired after the princess's death, but still discreetly contacts some in the royal family. I'll send the address. William flew straight to Edinburgh. An elderly woman with silver hair and an elegant demeanor greeted him with surprise. Prince William, why are you here? Margaret, do you recognize this handwriting? Margaret took the document and examined it closely. This is Princess Diana's handwriting. I helped her draft this will in 1996. She wanted to ensure the Light Fund went to you for charitable support. William frowned. But that fund now belongs to Bright Holdings, a company under Tom Parker Bowles's name. What do you know about this? Margaret sighed, sitting down. After the princess passed, I was forced to leave the royal family. Robert Langley, Camilla's financial advisor, took over the princess's documents. I suspect he transferred the fund to Bright Holdings on Camilla's orders. William clenched his fists. Do you have proof? Margaret shook her head. Only my testimony. But I can retrieve old records if you give me time. Do it now, William said. Send everything through Kate's secure channel. Next, William contacted Emma. Emma any news on the fire. Emma replied, her voice tense. I tested ash samples from the archives. There are traces of a fire accelerant, not a natural short circuit. Someone intentionally caused it. William pursed his lips. Marcus. He works for Camilla. Can you find evidence linking him to the fire? I'll try. Emma said, but I'm being followed. Someone rummaged through my office last night. Leave Windsor immediately, William ordered. Move to a safe place. Kate will arrange it. He hung up and called Kate. Kate, get Emma to the guest house at Kensington. Don't let anyone know. Yes, Kate replied. But what are you doing next? Create a diversion. William said, I'll spread rumors. William contacted a trusted journalist working for a reputable newspaper. The next morning, an article appeared online titled Royal Secret Hidden Will. The article didn't name William, but implied Camilla was involved in manipulating Princess Diana's assets. The rumor spread quickly within the royal inner circle. Staff began whispering, high-ranking members murmured in private meetings. Camilla immediately called Evelyn. Find out who spread the rumor, deal with them. I won't let William destroy everything. Meanwhile, William returned to Kensington and met Emma at the guest house. What have you found? Emma handed over a USB. Footage from a secondary camera near the archives. Marcus appears before the fire carrying a strange device. This is evidence. William smiled coldly. My mother left the will, and I won't let Camilla win. William sat in his secret office at Kensington Palace, the light from the desk lamp illuminating his mother's will, Princess Diana protected in a glass case. He had carefully backed up all evidence, the will video from Emma showing Marcus lurking near the archives before the fire, encrypted emails between Camilla and Marcus, and the forged contract transferring the Light Fund to Bright Holdings. William knew Camilla was a formidable opponent, but this time he held the upper hand. At Clarence House, Camilla felt the mounting pressure. She summoned Tom, her son, to the private drawing room. William has a copy of the will, she said, her voice icy. Tom frowned, gripping his coffee cup tightly. Mother, if William has evidence, why hasn't he gone public? What is he planning? Camilla smiled faintly. He's smarter than I thought. William doesn't want a scandal to harm the royal family's reputation, but he'll use the will to force me out of power. She stood up, walked to the window, her eyes sharp and cold. I need to counterattack. I must make everyone believe the will is fake. The next morning, Camilla organized a private meeting with loyal members of the Royal Council. She stood before the long table, her voice calm but authoritative. I've been informed of a document claimed to be Princess Diana's will. I have reason to believe it's forged. William, though the heir, may be influenced by troublemakers. Lord Harrington, Camilla's long-time ally, spoke up. Mum, if the document is fake, we need to authenticate it immediately. But if it's real, the consequences will be severe. Camilla nodded, feigning contemplation. Indeed, I suggest an independent authentication. I don't want any doubt to harm the royal family's honor. But inwardly she knew she was walking a tightrope. If the will was confirmed genuine, all her efforts would collapse. But she had to gamble. Meanwhile, William prepared his final move. He convened a royal meeting which included Charles James Emma and Margaret Hale, the lawyer who had helped Diana draft the will, and other royal members. Charles sat at the head of the table, his eyes thoughtful, clearly shocked by the revelations, but maintaining a calm exterior, signaling William to present. William stood before the council members, his voice calm but sharp. I have evidence that my mother, Princess Diana, left a legal will, bequeathing the Light Charity Fund to me. This is her personal asset, not royal property. I also have proof that Camilla concealed the will and manipulated this fund through Bright Holdings. Margaret, with her elegant demeanor, placed a bundle of documents on the table. These are my records from 1996 when I worked with the princess. This will was handwritten with her signature and 2 witnesses. I was one of them. Emma produced a USB. This is footage from a secondary camera showing Marcus with a strange device near the archives before the fire. I also found encrypted emails from Marcus to Camilla confirming she ordered the staged fire. Additionally, the contract transferring the Light Fund to Bright Holdings under Tom's name is forged, signed by Robert Langley. Camilla was summoned shortly after. She entered appearing confident, but her eyes flashed panic upon seeing Margaret and the documents. "This is a conspiracy," she said, her voice slightly trembling. "William has forged documents to bring me down." William stood up, looking straight at her. "Mrs. Camilla, can you explain why Marcus, who works for you, was near the archives before the fire, or why Bright Holdings under your son's name owns my mother's fund?" Camilla opened her mouth, but found no excuse. The council ordered immediate authentication of the will. Within 3 days, an independent team of experts confirmed the will was genuine, with the signature and content matching Diana's documents perfectly. Charles, after hearing all the evidence, ordered the council to ensure justice was served while requiring Camilla to withdraw from public roles to protect the royal family's honor. Camilla's reputation collapsed. The royal council, to avoid public scandal, barred her from official activities. The power she had built over the years vanished. Tom, though not prosecuted, was forced to return all assets from Bright Holdings. William, after reclaiming the Light Fund, relaunched it under his mother's name, focusing on the charitable projects Diana had been passionate about. He stood before the safe house watching the sunset, muttering, "Mother, I've done it. Truth always prevails. How do you feel about Camilla's actions in intentionally concealing Princess Diana's will and manipulating the Light Charity Fund to benefit her son Tom Parker Bowles? Share your thoughts with us in the comment section. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click the next video showing on your screen. You will enjoy it.